Welcome everyone to our October 22nd webinar with Switch TV talking about their cloud production platform. I'm gonna be real quick on it. It's a really interesting platform. It lets you basically produce in the cloud everything that you traditionally do in a studio environment. So with that being said, Rob, I'm gonna turn it over to you for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. So my name is Robert Sabo-Rowe. I'm the SVP of Engineering and Product Management for the Switch, and we're just going to talk a bit about the MIMiC cloud production platform and the how we've managed to get to this point today, I guess. So and then we'll go into a demo of that, and we'll have a short Q&A session at the end of it. So there's a number of things that had to line up for cloud production to become a reality. So I guess the first component of it was that you need to have widespread, available, and reliable internet. I mean, cloud production is driven by web browsers. You could just have dedicated pipes into facilities to drive it, but actually, the beauty of the cloud production environment is that you can drive it from anywhere. And in fact, Jonathan, who'll be doing the demo later, regularly drives it from his mobile phone hotspot using cellular internet connectivity. The critical to this is the web browser technology. So over the recent years, WebRTC has been developed, and it's now widely available in browsers, and it allows for the real-time delivery of data and video to a web browser. And this is really important because this is how the user interface works that connects you to the system in the cloud. So this is how the user interface handles your replay, your production switcher, UI, it provides video in real time to you. And without the development and support of this technology, it would not have been possible to produce a cloud-based production environment. The second part of that is the ability to provide reasonable quality decode support in web browsers. So there's now support built into web browsers for hardware accelerated H.264, H.265, VP8, VP9 decoding. AV1's coming as well. And this allows us to use really lightweight compute technology to run the web browser in. So there's no point having a cloud-based production technology that requires really high compute power on the desktop to drive through a web browser. So you have this video decode support built into the systems. To drive this in or to power this in the cloud, you need to process video, and GPU technology. It wasn't until probably 4 or 5 years ago that GPU technology started to become available in the cloud data centers. And that was driven essentially by bit miners and the need to, get gamers clearly for GPU technology, but bit miners and deep learning. And 5 years ago, you couldn't train a deep learning model in the cloud, but now that's where you go to do deep learning. And the requirements of these sort of GPU users has driven the capability of GPUs remarkably. There's a couple of graphs here that look at peak memory bandwidth and the gigaflops per second of GPU technology versus general processor technology. And this has actually not been updated since the latest release from NVIDIA of their next range of GPUs. So without the ability to really process video in the cloud with GPUs, we couldn't do this today. And because of the general need to have a lot of GPU processing in the cloud, driven again by deep learning and bit miners and general compute, usage, GPU usage in the cloud is really affordable now. It's still, if you were constantly using GPUs in the cloud, you wouldn't do that. You'd buy it on dedicated machines in your own facility. But for production use, where you do a production for a few hours and then turn it down again, that's a really efficient way to use cloud technology. So production fits really well in the cloud. So these are the sort of things that had to happen. Where are we with cloud-based production? So this sort of technology came from offline cloud-based social media editing. Then it became apparent that actually you could live clip. So you could take live content into the cloud and live clip and post to social media. And now we're at a point where we can offer cloud-based production for, not top-tier sports or top-tier events, but lower-tier type events. So, in fact, we're actually really pleased with the way that this whole product came together, in that we believe we're able to address a higher tier of customer than we had originally anticipated. So. And absolutely firmly in the belief that we'll find that top tier productions will use cloud-based technology in the future. It's not there yet for top tier. You're still going to use Kyans and Kahuna production switches and EVS and so on for the top tier stuff, which is what we offer in our REMI control suites. But for the lower tier stuff, we absolutely believe that cloud-based production is useful. Just a bit about the way our system goes together. So MIMiC runs in the cloud, and we have a landing, as a customer of MIMiC, or if we do turnkey productions in MIMiC, we can land hundreds of streams into the system, and they can be available for live clipping and editing. They can be available for live production, and you can take those streams in from bonded cellular inputs, normal IP encoded inputs. You can take them off certainly our fiber network, and as long as it's an IP based input, we can bring that into the system and use it in production. You drive the system from web browsers, so you have a replay system, you have graphics control, you have a user interface for the production switcher, you have a multi-viewer. So all of those things are available in web browsers, and you can have a distributed production team, and each doing their own various part, all linked with an integrated intercom. Cloud-based intercom system that is integrated into the production system. We can take in HTML5 based graphics from people like Singular Live or FlowX or Never.no, and they also provide audience engagement type overlays and information that can be brought into a production as well. And you can push straight out from the platform to social media for live streaming, for posting clips and comments into social media. You can send it to OTT destinations that you have set up, or perhaps a service that we offer or someone else offers, and you can push it into archive as well. A bit about the production switcher. So we're at a point with the product that we can handle 20 live video streams into the product. On top of that, you have VOD assets and graphics, and you have essentially what looks in a traditional sense, a traditional switcher world, looks like an 8ME switcher, where you can composite scenes on each ME, and we have transform engines that allow you to place and resize imagery and so on. As I said, we've got multi-viewers and replay engines behind this as well. And the HTML5 graphics input is really interesting because we can take a web page essentially and put it into the production, and that web page is HTML5, and there are a number of providers that provide really great HTML5 graphics that you can control with external web-based control systems. And what's really interesting, you can also take those graphics and use them in more traditional workflows and convert them into fill and key for use in another type of live production environment. So, and you can push out the content out to 20 destinations at once. So it's great. You can choose which destinations you want. All of the content that you bring into the system has a whole load of information about how you can use it and whether it's embargoed or not, which regions you can use it in, and so on. So, clipping and editing. So this is a rapid clip, edit, post type system that can be used to post short clips or create highlights together. You can you have multi-track audio. You can select the audio for the posting. We have integration with Adobe Premiere Pro so that you can, from your Adobe Premiere Pro desktop, you can watch a live stream and just clip it in Adobe Premiere Pro, then use all the finishing in Adobe Premiere Pro, the post-production finishing, to produce an asset that you push out to the for social media destinations. It's quite important that when you set up inbound channels into the system, you might have hundreds of them. You can allocate different user groups and permissions on them, and where they can be posted to, and what durations of time they can be used, and so on. Part of the MIMiC service provides contribution streams from bonded cellular encoders. You get a whole management system to allow you to manage those encoders and drop them onto into the cloud. So the intercom system is integrated into the encoders, so you can talk to the camera guys. There's a proper cloud-based intercom system that is integrated into this system, so you get mix minus back from the production switcher and the like. And of course, you distribute that out to either social media or back into more traditional distribution channels. Really interesting. We're able to take in metadata feeds, sports data feeds, for example, where you can do auto clipping, which is really handy if you want to, if you've got a sports data feed for a match, to be able to produce highlight reels really quickly. You know where all of the interesting points in the match are, and you can clip them out and even auto clip them. You can even auto post. You can actually make sure that the system auto posts every goal in the game, for example, or because you have it clip around an event and you just push it out there with commentary. There's a whole bunch of social media integration tools that allows you to understand how assets are performing on the social media live stream channels and posts that you push out to social media as well. With some of the technology that we have available, we can even do highly interactive viewing. So to viewers operating in apps on their phones that have live feedback enabled on the overlays, we can bring that back into the graphics system and allow them to look at different things. At some point there is, we don't as yet support this, but it's of interest, is to be able to allow users to select different camera feeds that they might be interested in. Example use cases. This is for secondary event production. So you have a main event. You might have a Remy control room or an outside broadcast truck producing the show. It's going across a transmission network. And we take that signal and we encode it and drop it straight into the platform. And then you can have people editing and clipping and posting that. You can have a live production going on for secondary production, perhaps for a secondary language or for social media distribution. And that gets pushed out to directly out to social media or into archive or distributed to CDNs and the like. So this is one use case. Another use case is where you're using this as the primary production. So you might have bonded cellular feeds coming in. We debond in the cloud, and we deliver the video into the production system. Once you've landed the video, it can be used by any of the multitude of editors that might be wanting to clip the content to produce highlights reels. But it can be used in a number of different, in a multitude of productions. So there might be a production that's going on for a particular destination. There might be another one that's being done for a secondary language, and so on. Everyone's driving this from their web browsers in their, either remotely, or they could be doing it in a facility. Last use case, perhaps you have a on-net studio with us. Maybe it's one of our studios, and you have expert commentary there. You have perhaps some of the more professional gamers operating there. You take the signal from wherever that studio is, you drop it into our encoders, drop it into the production system. We might be taking other feeds in from game players that are using machines in their own environment. Comes in as an IP feed. We might be taking other IP feeds in, and we'll be able to produce the show, linked with our intercom talkback system and web browsers for the production, and push it out to destinations. So that's all. So the last slide just talks a bit about what can you do next. So that's interesting. We can do all of that now. That's great. What's coming? Well, I think the most interesting development that's going on in technology at the moment is all about deep learning and AI technology. So the ability to train deep learning systems to recognize interesting parts of a game or of a show, that's absolutely possible now. It's just more or less become possible in the last year or so. And you can instead of having metadata feeds coming in to tell you about things, you can actually generate it yourself automatically. And being in the cloud really helps with that, because you have a large amount of resources as far as processing to process this stuff with the GPUs that are available there. And it won't, automated production. There are people doing automated production already with fixed cameras on certain types of games, and that will become more generalized. And when that does, we're going to be interested in wrapping that into our products. GPUs, well, NVIDIA launched, I think 3 weeks ago, the Ampere technology GPUs. They're twice the processing performance for the same price, essentially. AMD is about to launch next week their next range of GPUs. They will compete with that. And things are moving faster and faster in GPU technology. And that allows us to do more and more stuff in the cloud. So handle more live streams. We can handle 20 live streams at the moment. We'll be able to handle more. We currently operate at 20 megabits per second with H.264 HEVC encoding, but we'll be able to operate with more at the top end of the contribution side. So 20 megabits is really, really not bad quality, but 50 megabits is what we'd use normally for contribution. And at the moment we don't do 3D effects in the production switcher, but that's certainly going to be possible. Really interesting developments in 5G and LEO contribution. So low Earth orbit internet constellations are going up. There's 3 of them that are going up at the moment. And that means you're going to get low latency contribution streams from anywhere, essentially. So being able to, it's always a struggle to with certain types of locations to get connectivity to, but you'll start to get higher bandwidth, and there will be more, there will be hardly anywhere that we can't get to as far as connectivity. And we've got a more advanced codecs that are on the horizon now. AV1, we've got VC9, VC6. That shouldn't be 9. VC6 is just, is now available. H.266 has just been ratified, so they're really interesting codecs that we'll be looking quite carefully at. And the world is marching to more and more internet channels and streaming destinations. It keeps getting there are broadcasters that we talk to that are more interested in how to develop their Twitch subscriber base than their more traditional subscriber bases, because that's actually growing faster and that's more interesting to them. So, and that will continue as well. So that's all I was going to say about the product and the technology behind it. And I was going to hand over to Jonathan to give a demo.
Great, thanks, Rob. So we get our screens reshared and move it from one continent to the other. Are there any basic questions, or you want to field any concerns or questions right now? Okay. So you should see my MIMiC logo right now on the screen. And I'll just jump straight into showing what this platform can do. The first thing I'm going to illustrate is the live clipping and editing. The clipping and editing is part of the MIMiC cloud production software that allows you to take ingested streams or signals into MIMiC and allows you to clip and edit and post it to social media or different variables for use in your production. So in this situation, if I want to access one of my streams, I simply select the clipping and editing feed within this camera, and then it will open up in my browser window. And just as a disclaimer to what we're watching is I've simulated 4 camera feeds coming into this software as if it's live. So obviously this football game is not happening live. It's just recorded on a server that's being ingested live into the system. So open up the clipping and editing software, and I have available to me everything that is being streamed live, everything that's on the server that was recorded, like this specific feed was recorded at an earlier time, but I also have the flexibility of bringing in different parts of the VOD assets that I'm using within the broadcast. So if I want to clip something off, I could simply, as I'm watching this broadcast live, I can use simple keyboard shortcuts to create an in for what's going on. So if I'm watching this football game, I can just generate a simple clip. While I'm doing it, there's other features that I can do just as a side note. As I'm watching, I can be taking snapshots of the game. I don't want this as a clip, but I might want to post something to Facebook to show me the huddle that's on my overhead or something like that. So basically what I'm doing right now, until I'm looking for my endpoint, is just getting me a couple snapshots of something that I could post. So here comes the snap. So I'm just going to keep tightening up my endpoint. It's roughly right before the snap. Not sure what this play is going to do, but missed opportunity. There's my out. And all I need to do is hit create. And what that did is I put a clip in my playlist. In order to, I can have a rule set that automatically puts a front end bumper and a back end bumper. Therefore, I can publish it straight away. But in terms of adding other parts to, adding it manually, that way I can have more flexibility with dissolving it on and off. I can add a pre-roll to it. And therefore, all I have to do is put it there. If I wanted to put a tag or a post roll, simply select the post roll, and it will be automatically added to the playlist. So currently on my playlist, I have the head end, the clip, and the tail. And if I want dissolves between all of it, I'm ready to go. And if I want to preview it, just simply select preview. And you could see what this clip would be. This 3-shot playlist, which is inclusive of the heads and the tails, is ready to be published right now. Like, I really didn't need a preview, but for demo purposes, I'll just show you what it looks like. And here's the tail. I could have tightened it up a little bit, dissolve, and it rolls. In terms of publishing it, go to my publish menu, and I can select Facebook, I can select YouTube. If I had Twitter accounts, I can select all these various accounts and publish it straight to the respective social media. In the event I want to add some various croppings for it, I can have preset other croppings. Like for Instagram, you're going to want it more of a portrait style. So I'm giving myself availability of other croppings. In terms of posting those various croppings, I will select the crop feature over here. So for Facebook, I just want a 1-to-1 crop. For YouTube, select the channel, and let's just say let's pretend it was a Instagram post where I want it to be portrait. So in this situation, all I have to do is select my cropping and hit publish, and now in about 30 seconds, it'll land on those respective social media platforms. In the event I want to add more to my playlist, let's select a different camera feed, add source, and now I'm watching another source live. As I told you before, this is a live stream server of a feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back into the broadcast and find something that I can clip and put into my playlist. So let's see. Let's just say they're going to come into a huddle. Nope, let's find something better. And what I have access is the entire stream. It's not a matter of I only have the last 5 seconds or the last 20 seconds. I have the entire stream available to me. So let's just say that's my in, and a little spin around, and that's my out. And then bring the in back just a little bit to get that lens flare. And then all I have to do is hit create. Even though it's chronologically out of order, let's just flip them. And then I have the availability here to add a media wipe, which is a keyable transition. So now the playlist will look as the head or the in bump, and then it'll have the first clip, and then it'll do a media wipe to the second clip, and then finish off with the back end. So at the end of this clip, you'll see a keyable transition. And once we're done previewing it, we can simply publish it. And that publishing, once again, is the same step. I can go to my publishing menu, add my title, description, and and just select my destination where I want to publish it. Two other main features that you have available here are your audio section. Your audio section can have two options. You can replace your audio with a music track, or you could do a live voiceover. So in this situation, since I'm the user for this clip and editing, in this situation, I'm actually voicing over this highlight right now because I'm executing a voiceover. If I want to stop, just release my button, and now I have a voiceover for this clip that is ready to be published. One of the last features to show you, I remember earlier I was telling you I was just taking snapshots. Well, I can come down to this snapshot gallery and choose various things that I was wanting to publish. I can publish it to social media. So in this situation, if I wanted to publish that to Facebook, just to say, come up with whatever caption I want, I can publish that photo as a still and not have to worry about making it a clip. It's just a snapshot as I'm watching the broadcast. So this is and I'm trying to hurry through this so we can have a Q&A section towards the end, but this is the specifics of what you can do with the clipping and editing features within MIMiC. So from this point, I would like to take it to the actual production software to where you can do a full-on production. I've already launched.
I just had to have a professional.
You there? All right. So I already pre-launched this production. And this instance is loaded through AWS. And I'm going to open a production. This production are those same 4 cameras that you saw. And here is where Stream Studio is broken up into scenes and layers. The scenes are what you would consider in a traditional sense the mix effects bus. The layers make up the scenes that generate the various effects that are used throughout the broadcast. And through those scenes and layers, as I populate them, I can populate them through any live source that is being brought into the production. And in order to show you what the actual output of the Stream Studio looks like, I'm actually going to publish this broadcast to a YouTube channel so you can follow along and hopefully see the clarity of what the actual broadcast looks like, as opposed to what the Zoom call is producing. So give me 1 second, and I'll put that in the chat window as well. Sorry for the delay here. There we go. All right, in terms of publishing your production, go to the publish menu. In this situation, I want to publish it straight to YouTube. I'm going to select the channel and hit go live. And then roughly in about 20 seconds, you'll see that it's live on my YouTube channel. And I'll post the link of, this was the clip I actually created earlier through the clipping and editing. So as soon as the broadcast becomes live, I will put it in the chat window so y'all can see what so in this situation, there's the broadcast, and I will simply copy the link. And then in the chat window, you should see a YouTube link that you're more than welcome to access so you can see what the actual broadcast would look like. So one of the first things that you would have in Stream Studio is you need to look at all your sources. In order to looking at all your sources, you have availability of a multi-viewer. This multi-viewer is also distributed to other people within the production. In order to configure your multi-viewer, you're simply going to add your sources. What you have available in your multi-viewer is the program and the preview that is being generated from Stream Studio. You also have the availability of 8 sources that you can add that are being used within the broadcast. So in this situation, I'm going to add my 4 cameras, add. And this link can be distributed to anybody that has access to the production that can watch it. So if you have a graphic operator in Connecticut and they need to see the broadcast, this is what you would distribute to them. You would distribute the multi-viewer, therefore they can watch the entire broadcast as it's happening and not after the fact. So in this situation, I've added my 4 cameras to the broadcast, and I've added my graphics generator, which is a Singular Live Graphics. That's a web-based HTML5 graphic system. So I can convert it back to my watching mode. And in this situation, based on when the camera feeds actually come up through after the counter's done, I would have a 2-screen setup. One screen would be my multi-viewer, and my other screen would be the actual Stream Studio production. So I'm going to move my multi-viewer to a different window here, and then come back into Stream Studio and just show some of the variations of what's going on here. So in this situation, I have my switcher laid out like I would a traditional switcher. I have my camera scene, I have my replay scene, I have my VOD asset scene. I've also created a couple of simple effects. I have a 2D transform engine that gives me size, position, and crop features for the use of Stream Studio. In addition, I also have some other scenes that I have just for ancillary purposes. So in this situation, if I want to put a VOD asset to start my broadcast, I would simply select what I'm going to do to go on air, and I will start off my broadcast with a commercial. After the commercial is done, I could simply begin to go straight into my animation. There's a feature here called Direct Edit. The Direct Edit will permit me to take the source live without having to preview it, without having to put it in preview and then pushing it to air. There are some releases coming out with the VOD assets that allow you to have better handles on it, have better playlist controls to move from one VOD asset to the other. And those releases are coming out within the next week or two. But in this situation, if the commercial's done and I want to go to the begin and do my open, I can simply select my open, and now it's broadcasting my open. And you should be seeing that on YouTube if anybody's watching it. In this situation, I'm ready to begin a broadcast. Well, I don't have to manually click everything as you see me moving and navigating through my cursor. I can also use I have a Stream Deck connected to this. So I'm going to just naturally select it on my Stream Deck because I have keyboard shortcuts that have generated throughout this entire Stream Studio for enabling me to cut for the entire broadcast with the use of a Stream Deck. Stream Deck's nothing new. It's just an external device that a lot of podcasters and a lot of people have used to accentuate their key bindings. So in this situation, I'm just cutting through the broadcast. I'm looking on my multi-viewer on another screen, and I can see that the next snap is ready to go. So I'm just going to go back to my high camera. In the event at the end of the snap, I want to do something a little bit more sophisticated. So I could easily set up a 2-box effect. That 2-box effect is going to be put into preview. And then I'm going to preview, let's say the 2 slash cameras are going to be put into preview. So in this situation, if I want to put that online, simply select that scene, which has my basic 2-box effect. And I can cut within that 2-box. If I want to get back out of the 2-box effect, simply go back to the scene, and I'm ready to go back to the production mode of what's going on. One of the last features to truly display would be the replay option. The current and I'll open up a new browser window. And as a disclaimer, one of the things to understand what you physically need for requirements, you have to use a Chrome browser or a Firefox browser or even Opera. You can't use Safari. And the bandwidth that you need to connect to, and sometimes when I'm traveling, I'm at a hotel with really bad internet, you can use your hotspot on your phone because all you need to use your browser for is roughly 5 megabits per second for you to stream your WebRTC on your browser. So if I have 2 windows, I have my multi-viewer window and my Stream Studio window, I would need a total of 10 megabytes per second to have enough data connectivity to the outside world. So I'm going to open up my replay window, and this replay window can be done from someone else that is in a different location around the country. Again, they would have a replay browser. They don't have to be the Stream Studio operator. They're just like your traditional replay operator, and they could also have the multi-viewer distributed to them as well. So in terms of showing how the replay is executed and what it can do, simply I have 4 streams that are coming into my replay. These are live, and what I'm going to do is go to live, and whenever I see a replay that I want to use, I'm going to grab the replay. And when I grab the replay, it's going to go back 10 seconds into the buffer. So right now there's nothing but a huddle, but all right, we're going to get a play here. So whenever the play happens, I'm going to simply hit grab replay, and then I can select what angle I want. I can select my endpoint, and then I want to grab the replay after the play is done. So it's a simple pass up the middle, nothing special. I'm going to grab the replay. You can see what it does here. It's going to rewind 10 seconds. So I know my endpoint's pretty good, but let's just make sure my endpoint's good. All right, set my endpoint, set the speed, and now the replay has already been sent to my replay output. That's what this window is for the replay operator. Just so you know, this window right here is the actual program out of the broadcast. So in order for the replay to get executed, the director of the broadcast would simply select the replay to go live on the broadcast. So in this situation, the replay is already queued up, and all I have to do is simply go to the replay and it will automatically trigger. And you can see how it's playing it in slow motion. On the back end of the replay, I can come back to live action. And the flag's pulled, replay's over, and come back live. Right now, the current offerings with this current release is you have options for cut, fade through white, fade through black, but we are currently working on producing a medial white transition similar to what you see in the clipping and editing feature. So that is something that is definitely being offered in the very, very near future. So that's the broad stroke of Stream Studio. And then the last thing to show y'all would be the Adobe Premiere integration. The Adobe Premiere integration would be the same thing as clipping and editing. However, it's just the use of Adobe Premiere, giving you more firepower for producing a higher end edited content. So what I'm doing in Adobe Premiere, all these windows are the same windows that you traditionally would have. The only window that is different is the window right here, which is used by executing a plugin. So what I have available to me is the gallery, the live streams, and the past streams. So I'm going to go to my live streams, and I'm going to select the handheld, the Movi. And you know what? Let's just say, just for argument's sake, let's just say that's a clip I want. Go into it live, and create an endpoint. And I'm just showing a huddle here, no big deal. Hit out. All I have to do to put this clip onto my hard drive is hit create clip, and it will bring it straight in. It will import it straight into my hard drive. Now I have the full use of that clip right here. And all that was done in real time. There is no lag. If you're going to import a 20-minute clip, it might take you 4 to 5 minutes. But if you're ingesting just seconds, which is like 10 seconds or 20 seconds of a play, it's going to take you very, very little time to bring it into your editor. And so from there, you just simply put it onto your timeline, and you're ready to produce a high-end edited package. So at this point, I think I'm going to turn it over to Ben, because it looks like we have about 18 minutes left before we get to the top of the hour. And I think we can field some questions, or we can go through some. I'll be happy to go back into any of these products, any of these, the various aspects that what you're looking at. So Ben.
Thanks, Jonathan. Really appreciate it, man. Yeah, so, Mark, I know I kind of cut out at the beginning. Just wanted to say, thanks so much for getting everybody here. So I think, now that we are at kind of, 12:45-ish, we want to open it up to, for a little Q&A here. And also, I think Jonathan will kind of sit here in the background if you guys want to go back through anything. So why don't we kick off the Q&A? Does anybody have any questions about Rob's piece at the beginning or Jonathan's piece here? And, fire away. Okay.
Actually,
so
this
Mark,
is Jerry. I do want to double check something. Jonathan, what do I need for each browser? What bandwidth do I need to have each individual browser?
Roughly 5 megabits per second for each individual browser. So in this situation, I was running 3 browsers, so I would need about 15 megabits per second. But here where I am, I have plenty of bandwidth. But the good part is, and sometimes when I'm traveling and doing some of these demos, I don't have that bandwidth. I can execute a hotspot on my cell phone and have the full functionality of Stream Studio by way of my phone.
Nothing's going to my local machine at all. It's all in the cloud. It's just web browser control.
Correct.
Okay, Jonathan, or Robert, if you guys could go into a little bit to developing when you send multiple streams to the Facebook, to YouTube, and how you can be a little more selective with some of them.
So, okay, I can show it. So in this situation, based on where you want to deliver your broadcast to, you can go up to 20 outputs, 20 different destinations. So in this situation, if I wanted to populate all my YouTube channels, because I might have different followers, so I can select all 3 YouTube channels. I can even select my Facebook page. And if I have a dedicated RTMP that I'm going to have redistributed somewhere else, I can select all these respective feeds and stream it straight to those destinations from Stream Studio. So I don't need to send it to a provider that then restreams it. I can stream to 20 different destinations straight from Stream Studio. So in this situation, you're about to see all of my streams get populated through. And to be honest, I'm not, well, I guess it is connecting. I really don't stream to channels 2 and 3, but just to show you the firepower here, I'm streaming right now to 4 different channels, three YouTube channels and Facebook straight from Stream Studio.
And they can all be different feeds.
No, they're all the same feeds. But if I want to take this furthermore, so in this situation, if I have Sorry to keep going back and forth, but it's a really good question, something that we can accent. But in this situation, I have 3 YouTube channels, and what I want to do is I want to distribute my camera 2, my Skycam. I want to have a multi-purpose. What I can do is I can go into my camera 2 feed, and I can stream straight from my channels and stream to my YouTube channel without even having to go into Stream Studio.
So that can be a completely separate feed.
Correct. So if you're wanting to have something that's more discrete, you would have to you would be restreaming the feeds that are coming into your broadcast. But in terms of feeds that are going out, this is what you're going to be delivering. In terms of one of the most popular questions that we field is, can you generate a clean feed? Well, that's something that everybody wants to do. What's being developed right now is an additional keyer layer that will be inserted before your primary layer. It's going to be called a DSK layer. What it's going to give you availability to have is a two broadcasts coming out of the same production facility. Therefore, you're basically going to have a broadcast with dirty program, and then you're also going to have a program minus of your DSK layer. And the bigger benefit with the way Stream Studio is organized, as opposed to a traditional linear switcher, you don't have just keyer A and keyer B and keyer 3 and with your 2 background generators. What you have here is you just have layering. So I'm determining whether or not, in this situation, let's go to scene 4, where it's really just more effects. You know, what I have built onto this effect is a keyer of a logo. Okay, I'm going to take that off. I have a graphic. I'm going to put that on, take that off. And these are just layers. They're really not keyers. I have my left box, I have my right box, and then I have my background generator. Give me 1 second. Some people are wanting to join. So then I have my background generator. If I want to generate this entire broadcast minus of this logo, or minus of this graphic, I would put this into my DSK layer, therefore then producing 2 different discrete feeds. And I believe that option is going to be available in the first quarter of next year.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. Any other questions? I'll give it another couple seconds here. All right. Well, Mark, you know, if there's no other questions, I guess we can start to wrap it up. You know, like I said, you know, really grateful for you putting this together. Hopefully it was, you know, informational enough. You know, we dove, you know, into the technology and kind of, you know, where we are now, how we got here, and where we feel like, you know, not only this product, but also, you know, this, you know, kind of application is going. So if you guys don't have any other questions, we can wrap it up, and really appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys, for presenting. I appreciate this. It's very interesting. I see it as the new wave of how production is going to go, and it's going to start with smaller productions and build up. I also see it as a way that, as it develops, you can go and give viewers more options. So you could give almost like a clean feed with graphics on it, so people can go, oh, I want this camera feed, I want that camera feed. So for more of the over the top. So I see a lot of potential for this. So again, thank you very much for sharing this with us. I appreciate it, and thanks for your time.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our pleasure.
Thanks so much, Mark.
Thanks, then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and with that, we're going to close the meeting out. Ben, or Jonathan, if you could send me a link to this so I can get it, so I can put it up. I'd like it to get out to our viewers that weren't able to watch it today. Is that possible?
Absolutely. Just give me, I'll make sure. And I don't know if I have your email, but I'll send it to Ben, and you will have by the morning. Okay.
Excellent. Sounds great. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Our next presentation is November 5th, and it'll be Carl Coombs from Telestream. So take care and have a great afternoon and a great weekend. See you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.